Great to be back, Dylan. Thanks for having me back on your channel.
Yeah, man. Much love from the USA over here, all the way to Denmark. That's so
All the way from
amazing.
Denmark. Yes. Oh yeah. And I'm excited for the intro of today's subject.
Yeah, the raw material, the love
Global
one book
connection, Denmark, the USA, Law of One, Blue Heart and the Sun. Here we go.
by Ron, a humble messenger of the love one. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good stuff, man. I love going over this, and this takes place session 15, January 30th, 1981. So that's pretty cool.
All right. So I'll just do a quick prayer over this live and then we'll begin. I'll start.
All right.
So,
Sounds good.
Father Jesus, we pray to you tonight that would you, Spirit, just be with us in our reading? Would you just give us power to read your words? God, be with us. And for all the people who want to join tonight on this live stream on YouTube, then come in and listen to the Law of One material. Yeah, just God bless us with the tongue, the gift of speak forth your word of your according. Just fill this room up with your spirit, God. Oh, we love you. We love you, Jesus. Be with us and Ra, speak forth. And we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah, for sure. That was good. Man, I'm so glad that I am not dealing with the heat. I had a little taste of that just the other day to go get my van, and uh, someone from Billings, Montana, where I'm from, just texted me a little bit ago and said that it was still 104 just a little bit ago. 104 degrees, man, and it's like 60 here. So, anyways, I'm very, very thankful for that, man, that I'm not dealing with that heat. And so, yeah, shall we begin reading this session 15?
Yes, we shall begin. The Law 1, Session 15, January 30, 1981. Ra, I am Ra. I greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. I communicate now.
Questioner. I would like to apologize for my past and any future stupid questions due to the fact that I am searching for the proper entry into investigating the Law of One. We will be eliminating the stupid ones from the book. I would like to ask if the use of the instrument is a function of the time we use the instrument, or the amount of information, or the number of words the instrument gives. In other words, do I have to hurry and ask a question, or can I take my time to ask the questions?
I am Ra. There are two portions to your query. Firstly, this instrument reserves a vital energy, which is a product of body, mind, and spirit distortions in the various complexes. It's the key to the length of time which we may expend using this instrument. We searched your group. When we contacted you for each in your group possesses significantly more vital energy of the body complex. However, this instrument was tuned most appropriately by the mind-body-spirit complex distortions of its begin of beingness in this illusion. Therefore, we remained with this instrument. Secondly, we communicate at a set rate, um, which is dependent upon our careful manipulation of this instrument. We cannot be more, as you would say, quick. Therefore, you may ask questions speedily, but the answers we have to offer are at a set pace given.
This isn't exactly what I meant. If it takes me, say, 45 minutes to ask my questions, does that give the instrument only 15 minutes to answer rather than an hour? Or would we run over an hour and the instrument could answer for more?
I am Ra. The energy required for this contact is entered into this instrument by a function of time. Therefore, the time is the factor as we understand your query.
Then I should ask my questions rapidly so that I do not reduce the time. Is this correct?
I am Ra. You should do as you deem fit. However, we may suggest that to obtain the answers you require may mean that you invest some of what you experienced as time. Although you lose the answer time, you gain thereby in the specific. How do you pronounce that? Specific
Yes.
specificity
Specific?
of the answer, as many times in the past we have needed clarification of hastily phrased questions.
Thank you. The first question is, why does rapid aging occur on this planet?
I am Ra. Rapid aging occurs upon this third density planet due to an ongoing imbalance of receptor web complex in the etheric portion of the energy field of this planet. The thought form distortions of your people have caused the energy streamings to enter the planetary magnetic atmosphere, if you would so term this web of energy patterns, in such a way that the proper streamings are not correctly imbibed with balanced vibratory light love from this, shall we say, cosmic level of this octave of existence.
Hey, how's it going? All right, so 15.5 questioner. Do I assume correctly in assuming that one of your attempts in service to this planet was to help the population of this planet more fully understand and practice the law of one so that this aging, rapid aging, could be changed to normal aging?
I am Ra. You assume correctly to a great degree.
Then it would be very beneficial for the people of this planet in practicing the law of one to learn ways of service. Am I correct? At 15.6.
I am Ra. You are correct. If you will observe those oriented through a lifetime experiential distortion complex from near the beginning of that experience, you would observe a relatively youthful, as you would call it, appearance.
All right. Oops. What is the greatest service that our population on this planet could perform individually?
I am Ra. There is but one service, the law of one. The offering of self to Creator is the greatest service. the unity, the fountainhead, the entity who seeks the one creator is with infinite intelligence. From this seeking, from this offering, a great multiplicity of opportunities will evolve depending upon the mind body spirit complex's distortions, with regard to the various illusory aspects of energy centers of the various complexes of your illusion. Thus, some become healers, some workers, some teachers, and so forth.
If an entity were perfectly balanced on this planet with respect to the law of one, would he undergo the aging process?
I am Ra. A perfectly balanced entity would become tired rather than visible aged. Age. The lessons being learned, the entity would depart. However, this is appropriate and is a form of aging which your peoples do not experience. The understanding comes slowly, the body complex decomposing more rapidly.
Can you tell me a little bit about the definition of the word balancing as we are using it?
I am Ra. Picture, if you will, the one infinite. You have no picture. Thus the process begins. Love creating light, becoming love light, streams into the planetary sphere according to the electromagnetic web of points or nexi of entrance. These streamings are then available to the individual who, like the planet, is a web of electromagnetic energy, fills with points or nexi of entrance. Nexi. And a balanced individual uh, in a balanced individual, each energy center is balanced and functioning brightly and fully. The blockage of your planetary sphere causes some distortion of intelligent energy. The blockage of the mind body spirit complex further distort or unbalance this energy. There is one energy. It may be understood as love light, or light love, or intelligent energy.
Am I correct in assuming that one of the blockages of a mind body spirit complex might be due to an unbalance of, shall we say, ego? And this could be balanced using, say, a worthiness, unworthiness balance.
I am Ra. This is incorrect.
Can you tell me how to balance the ego?
I am Ra. We cannot work with this concept as it is misapplied, and understanding cannot come from it.
How does an individual go about balancing himself? What is the first step?
I am Ra. The steps are only one, that is, an understanding of the energy centers which make up the mind body spirit complex. This understanding may be briefly summarized as follows. The first balancing is the Malkut or Earth vibratory energy complex called the red ray complex. An understanding and acceptance of this energy is fundamental. The next energy complex which may be blocked is the emotional or personal complex, also known as the orange ray complex. This blockage will often demonstrate itself as a personal eccentricities or distortions with regard to self-conscious understanding or acceptance of self. The third blockage resembles most closely that which you have called ego. It is the yellow ray or solar plexus center. Blockades in this center will often manifest as distortion towards power, manipulation, and other social behaviors concerning those close and those associated with the mind body spirit complex. Those with blockades in these first three energy centers on Nexi will have continuing difficulties in ability to further their seeking of the law of one. The center of heart or green ray is the center from which third density beings may springboard, shall we say, towards infinite intelligence. Blockades in this area may manifest as difficulties in expressing what you may call universal love or compassion. The blue ray center of energy streaming in the center which for the first time is outgoing as well as inpouring. Those blocked in this area may have difficulty in grasping the spirit mind complexes of its own entity and further difficulty in expressing such understandings of self. Entities blocked in this area may have difficulties in accepting communication from other mind body spirit complexes. The next center is the pineal indigo ray center. Those blocked in this center may experience a lessening of the influx of intelligent energy due to the manifestations which appear as unworthiness. This is that of which you spoke. As you can see, this is but one of many distortions due to the several points of energy influx into the mind body spirit complex. The indigo ray balancing is quite central to the type of work which resolve about the spirit complex, which has its influx then into the transformation or transmutation of third density to fourth density, it being the energy center receiving the least distorted outpourings of love, light from intelligent energy, and having also the potential for the key to the gateway of intelligent energy. The remaining sense of energy influx is simply the total expression of the entity's vibratory complex of mind, body, and spirit. It is as it will be, balanced or imbalanced, has no meaning at this energy level, for it gives and takes in its own balance. Whatever the distortion may be, it cannot be manipulated as can the other, and therefore has no particular importance in viewing the balancing of an entity. How do you even say balancing? Like balancing.
Balancing.
Sounds funny. So, question. Yeah.
You previously gave us some information about what we should do in balancing. Is there any information that we can publish now about any particular exercises or methods of balancing these centers?
I am Ra. These exercises given for publication seen in comparison with the material now given are in total a good beginning. It is important to allow each seeker to enlighten itself rather than for any messenger to attempt in language to teach learn for the entity, thus being teach learner and learn teacher. This is not a this is not in balance with your third density. We learn from you, we teach from you, we teach to you, thus we teach learn. If we learn for you, this will cause imbalance in the direction of the distortion of free will. There are other items of information allowable. However, you have not yet reached these items in your lines of questioning, and it is our belief, feeling complex that the questioner shall shape this material in such a way that your mind, body, spirit complexes shall have entry to it. Thus, we answer your queries as they arise in your mind complex.
Yesterday, you stated the harvest is now. There is not at this time any reason to include efforts upon these distortions toward longevity, but rather to encourage distortions towards the heart of self. For this, which resides clearly in the violet ray energy field, will determine the harvest of each mind body spirit complex. Could you tell us how to seek, or the best way to seek, the heart of self?
I am Ra. We have given you this information in several wordings. However, we can only say the material for your understanding is the self, the mind body spirit complex. You have been given information upon healing, as you call this distortion. This information may be seen in a more general context as ways to understand the self. The understanding, experiencing, accepting, and merging of self and with other self, and finally with the Creator, is the path to the heart of self. In each infinitesimal, how do you say that? Infinitesimal part of yourself resides the one in all of its power. Therefore, we can only encourage these lines of con- contemplation, always stating the, how do we say that? Prerequisites.
Right?
Sounds like
Prerequisites.
mosquito, like something. Of meditation. Okay, meditation. Contemplation or prayer as a means of subjectively, objectively using or combining various understandings to enhance the seeking process. I thought on meditating and praying. Without such a method of reversing the analytical process, one could not integrate into unity the many understandings gained in such seeking.
I don't mean to ask the same question twice, but there are some areas I consider so important that greater understanding may be obtained by possible restatement. In other words, I thank you very much for your patience. Yesterday, you also mentioned that when there was no harvest at the end of the last 25,000 year period, there were harvestable entities who shall choose the manner of their entrance into the fourth density. Can you tell me what you mean by how they will choose the manner of their entrance into the fourth density?
I am Ra. These shepherds, or as some have called them, the elder race, shall choose the time space of their leaving. They are unlikely to leave until the other souls are harvestable also. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
What do you mean by their other selves being harvestable?
I am Ra. The other souls with whom these beings are concerning or concerned are those which did not attain harvest during the second major cycle.
Could you tell me just a small amount of the history of what you call the elder race?
I am Ra. The question is unclear. Please restate.
I ask this question because I've heard about the elder race before in a book, Road in the Sky, by George Hunt Williamson. And I was wondering if this elder race was the same that he talked about.
I am Ra. The question now resolves itself, for we have spoken previously of the manner of decision making which caused these entities to remain here upon the closing of the second major cycle of your current master cycle. There are some distortions in the descriptions of the one known as Michael Michel. However, these distortions have primarily to do with the fact that these entities are not a social memory complex, but rather a group of mind body spirit complexes dedicated to service. These entities work together, but are not completely unified. Thus, they do not completely see the other's thoughts, feelings, and motives. However, their desire to serve is the fourth dimensional type of desire, thus melding them into what you may call a brotherhood, brethren.
Why do you call them the elder race?
I am Ra. We call them thusly to acquaint you, the questioner, with their entity as I is understood by your mind complex distortion.
Are there any wanderers with these elder race?
I am Ra. These are planetary entities harvested. Wanderers only in the sense that they choose in fourth density love to immediately reincarnate in third density rather than proceeding towards fourth density. This causes them to be wanderers of a type, wanderers who have never left the earth plane because of their free will rather than because of their vibrational level. Wow. As
Well,
a star seed.
in
Lol. Yeah.
in yesterday's material, you stated, we offer the law of one, the solving of paradoxes. You also mentioned earlier that the first paradox, or the first distortion, I meant, was the distortion of free will. Could you tell me if there's a sequence? Is there a first, second, third, fourth distortion of the law of one?
I am Ra. Only up to a very short point. After this point, the manyness of distortions are equal one to another. The first distortion, free will, finds focus. This is the second distortion known to you as logos, the creative principle of or love. This intelligent energy thus creates a distortion known as light. From these three distortions come many hierarchical, how do you say that? Here, words I cannot
Uh,
pronounce.
Heresies.
Heresies of distortions, each having its own paradoxes to be synthesized, no one being more important than another.
You also said that you offered the law of one, which is the balancing of love, light, and light, love. Is there any difference between love, light, and light, love?
I am Ram, and this will be the final question of this time and space. There is the same difference between love, light, and light, love, as there is between teach learning and learn teaching. Love, light is the enabler, the power, the energy giver. Light love is the manifestation which occurs when light has been impressed with love.
Is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable? And can we have another session today?
I am Ra. This instrument requires a certain amount of manipulation of the physical or body complex due to the stiffness, to a stiffness. Other than this, as is well, the energy is being balanced. There is a slight distortion in the mental energy of this instrument due to the concern for a loved one, as you call it. This is only slightly lowering the vital energies of the instrument. Given a manipulation, this instrument will be well for another working. Yeah.
By manipulation, do you mean she should go for a walk or we should rub her back?
I am Ra. We meant the later. The understanding must be added that this manipulation be done by one in harmony with the entity. Are there any short queries before we leave this instrument?
Is it possible for you to tell us anything about what, since we are wanderers, anything about our previous density? Which density we came from?
I scan each and find it acceptable to share this information. The wonders in this working are of two densities. One, the density of 5, that is, of light. One, the density of love light, or unity. To express the entity of which came from which density, we observe to be an infringement upon the free will of each. Therefore, we state simply the two densities, both of which are harmony something
Harmoniously oriented?
harmoniously oriented towards work together. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and in the light of the one of the infinite creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one infinite creator. And so it is. Amen. Adonai.
Mhm.
Adonai. Thank you. Hello, guys. 5 people in the house. How are you doing? Put in the
Yeah, no,
comments.
think
We just
about
finished
that,
the
man.
session
That was
15.
session 15. And,
Yep.
we can talk about that for a minute, or, we can, too, here in a minute, move on to session 16, which is
Yeah, see,
January
whenever you feel like
31st.
we're gonna dive into the next one. What is your thoughts on this one then?
Yeah, so this session 15 was January 30th of 1981, and the next session is January 31st of 1981. And what do I think about the session 15? I think that that is awesome. The way that it ended, and really just there was a lot of actual pretty good information in there. Like, wow, session 15, definitely a good one. I I don't know if your internet is cutting out, I think, a little bit.
No, I'm still here. I'm just taking a quick break and breathing, doing some
Right? Oh
meditation, and
yeah,
then
no man. Yeah, it started off with me doing quite a bit of reading and then you finishing it off with a whole lot of reading. So yeah, I feel it. And then for session 16, I will be raw. We just we like to just switch.
I am
So
the
we're not
question.
that way we're not all you know because I think overall Raw has more to say. as being
Definitely.
Ra. And then there's the question, the
Yes.
questioner. So
Let's begin. You ready? I'll continue.
yeah, let's do it. What y'all think? What y'all think about this? The raw material. You know,
Nobody gives a fuck.
infinite. You know what I really liked when it was talking about. Let me go back here.
Mm-hmm. Tell me. Which verse?
We're towards the beginning.
15.
Man, it was in the beginning there somewhere. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, just talking about balancing our energy and in a
Which verse?
balanced individual, each energy center is balanced and functioning brightly and fully. The blockages
Which
of your
verse is that?
15:9, the second part of Raw, the second paragraph there. Um, yeah,
In
the
a balanced
blockages,
individual, each energy.
right?
In a balanced individual, each energy center is balanced and functioning brightly and fully. The blockage of your planetary sphere cause some distortion of intelligent energy. The blockage of the mind-body-spirit complex further distort or unbalance this energy. There is one energy. It may be understood as love light, or light love, or intelligent energy, or God, the one with the yeah.
Right?
It's interesting. These words actually
Yeah,
they
yeah,
reminds me a
yeah,
lot of
for real.
the Bible in some sense.
Right? I had to go back to that.
Just
Because
in
I mean
some idea. I'm not
I see it going on like a whole lot. This blockage, the blockage of your planetary sphere caused some distortion of intelligent energy. That's crazy. To purposely block out some of that energy. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
things. Yeah, Hmm. I think it's all energy. Wow, how
But
we
yeah, man, we
trans.
can for sure go on to this chap session 16, January 31st, 1981. I am Ra. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite creator. We communicate now.
As I ask questions, there will be unfortunately be I think the direction I wish to go investigation the law of one. However, I have ideas in mind of some questions. They may be stupid questions, I don't know, but trying to construct a complete unbiased book about the law of
Unbiased.
one which itself takes into account the law of one. Hope you I hope that you ridiculous. I don't know, yeah,
Inaudible. Ridiculous. Huh.
yeah, inaudible. I just skip these things. I would like to ask, considering the free will distortion of the law of one, how can the guardians quarantine the earth? Is this quarantine within the free will distortion?
I am Ra. The Guardians guard the free will distortion of the mind body spirit complexes of third density on this planetary sphere. The events which require activation of quarantine or interfering with the free will distortion of mind body spirit complexes.
I may be wrong, but it seems to me that it would be the free will of, say, the Orion group to interfere. How is this balanced against the other concept you just gave?
I am Ra. The balancing is from dimension to dimension. The attempts of the so called crusaders to interfere with free will are acceptable upon the dimension of their understanding. However, the mind body spirit complexes of this dimension you call third form a dimension of free will which is not able to, shall we say, recognize in full. The distortions toward manipulation, thus, in order to balance the dimensional variances in vibration, a quarantine was set up, this being a balancing situation whereby the free will of the Orion group is not stopped, but given a challenge. Meanwhile, the third density group is not hindered from free choice.
Questioner. Could these windows that occur let the Orion group come through once in a while? Does this have anything to do with this free will distortion?
I am Ra. This is correct.
Could you tell me how that works?
I am Ra. The closest analogy would be a random number generator within certain limits.
What is the source of this random number generator? Is it created by the Guardians to balance the Guardian, or is it a source other than the Guardians?
I am Ra. All sources are one. However, we understand your query. The window phenomenon is an other self phenomenon from the Guardians. It operates from the dimensions beyond space time, in what you may call the area of intelligent energy. Like your cycles, such balancing, such rhythms are as a clock striking. In the case of the windows, no entities have the clock. Therefore, it seems random. It is not random in the dimension which produces this balance. This is why we stated the analogy was within certain limits.
Then this window balancing prevents the Guardians from reducing their positive polarization by totally eliminating the Orion contact through shielding. Is this correct?
I am Ra. This is partially correct. In effect, the balancing allows an equal amount of positive and negative influx. This balanced by the mind body spirit distortions of the social complex. Thus, in your particular planetary sphere, less negative, as you would call it, information or stimulus is necessary, then positive due to somewhat negative orientation of your social complex distortion.
In this way, total free will is balanced so that the individual may have an equal opportunity to choose service to others or service to self. Is this correct?
I am raw. This is correct.
This is a profound revelation, I believe, in the law of free will. Thank you. This is a minor question further to make an example of this principle. But if the Confederation landed on Earth, they would be taken as gods, breaking the law of free will, and thus reducing their polarization towards service to all. I assume that the same thing would happen in the Orion group if the Orion group landed. How would this affect their polarization towards service to self if they were able to land and become known as gods?
I am raw. In the event of mass landing of the Orion group, effective polarization would be strongly towards an increase in the service to self, precisely the opposite of the former opportunity which you mentioned.
If the Orion group was able to land, would this increase their polarization? What I am trying to get at is it is better for them to work behind the scenes and get recruits, shall we say, from our planet. The person on our planet going towards service to self strictly on his own using his free will? Or is it just as good for the Ryan group to land upon our planet and demonstrate remarkable powers and get people like that?
I am raw. The first instance is in the long run. Shall we put it more salubrious for the Orion group in that it does not infringe upon the law of one by landing and thus does its work through those of this planet. In the second circumstance, a mass landing would create a loss of polarization due to the infringement upon the free will of the planet. However, it would be a gamble if the planet then were conquered and became part of the empire. The free will would then be re-established. This is restrained in action due to the desire of the Orion group to progress towards the one creator. This desire to progress inhibits the group from breaking the law of confusion. Give me
You
one moment.
mentioned the word empire in relation to the Ryan group. I thought for some time that the movie Star Wars was somehow an allegory in part for what is actually happening. Is this correct? Hi, Daisy. 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 Hello. Hi. So I'll just do that again. 16 verse 10.
Oh yeah,
16:10. You mentioned the word empire in relation to the Orion group. I have thought for some time that the movie Star Wars was somehow an allegory in part for what is actually happening. Is this correct?
I am raw. This is correct in the same way that a simple children's story is an allegory for physical, philosophical, social complex, distortion, understanding.
Is there a harvest of entities oriented towards service to self? Like there is a harvest here of entities oriented towards service to others.
I am raw. There's one harvest. Those able to enter fourth density through vibrational complex levels may choose the manner of their further seeking of the one creator.
Then, as we enter the fourth density, there will be a split, shall we say, and part of the individuals who go into the fourth density will go to the planets or places where there is service to others, and the other part will go into the places where there's service to self. Is this correct?
I am raw. This is correct.
That's very biblical, actually.
Right?
Well, the Confederation established its quarantine, I understand, 75,000 years ago. Has the Ryan Group been attempting to contact any part of this planet prior to that, or did they? How long? How long have they been attempting, notable, contacting this planet?
I am raw. Approximately 5,000. No, 45,000 years ago, an attempt was made. It was not successful. Approximately 2,600 years ago, the group sent an entity of social memory complex to this planetary sphere. This effort met with some success, but was in the space time continuum lessened in impact. Since approximately 2,300 years ago, in your measurement, this group has constantly been working upon the harvest, just as the Confederation. Rock corrected these dates in the next session. It should be 3,600 and 3,300 years ago, respectively.
Can you name the entity that they sent here 2,600 years ago, 2,600 years ago? The correct time frame is 3,600 years. See Ra's statement opening session 17.
I am Ra, this entity named by your peoples, Yahweh.
Can you tell me the origin of the Ten Commandments? Wow.
I am Ra. The origin of these commandments follow the law of negative entities impressing information upon positively oriented mind body spirit complexes. The information attempted to copy or ape positivity while retaining negative characteristics. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. The Word became flesh. Was this done by the Orion Group?
I am Ra. This is correct.
What was their purpose in doing this?
I am Ra. The purpose of the Orion Group, as mentioned before, is conquest and enslavement. This is done by finding and establishing elite and causing others to serve the elite through various devices, such as the laws you mention, and others given by this entity.
Was the recipient of the laws of the Ten Commandments positively or negatively oriented?
The recipient was one of extreme positivity, thus accounting for some of the pseudo positive characteristics of the information received, as with contacts which are not successful. Hold on this a little bit for 1 second. So that's why I can sit down more. All right. That's better. So the recipient was one of extreme positivity, thus accounting for some of the pseudo-positive characteristics of information received, as with contacts which are not successful. This entity vibratory complex, Mouche, did not remain a credible influence among those who had first heard the philosophy of one, and this entity was removed from this third density vibratory level in a lessened or saddened state, having lost what you may call the honor and faith with which we had begun the conceptualization of the law of one, and freeing of those who were of his tribes, as they were called at that time space.
A questioner. If this entity was positively oriented, how was the Ryan group able to contact him?
I am raw. This was an intensive, shall we say, battleground between positively oriented forces of Confederation origin and negatively oriented sources. The one called Mouche was open to impression and received the law of one in most simple form. However, the information became negatively oriented due to his people's pressure to do specific physical things in the third density planes. This left the entity open for the type of information and philosophy of a self service nature. And, give me 1 second.
Yes.
I got the next one. You can go.
1620. It would be unlikely an entity fully aware of the knowledge of the law of one to ever say, "Thou shalt not." Is this correct?
This is correct. I am wrong. This is
Can you
correct.
give me some kind of history of your social memory complex and how you became aware of the law of one?
Oh, your internet broke up there a little bit, or something did. Um, I am raw. The path of our learning is graven in the present moment. There is no history as we understand your concept. Picture, if you will, a circle of being. We know the Alpha and Omega as infinite intelligence. The circle never ceases. It is present. The densities we have traversed at various points in the circle correspond to the characteristics of cycles. First, the cycles of awareness. Second, the cycles of growth. Third, the cycle of self awareness. Fourth, the cycle of love or understanding. Fifth, cycle of light or wisdom. Sixth, the cycle of light, love, light, or unity. Seventh, the gateway cycle. Eighth, the octave, which moves into a mystery we do not plumb. Oops, I don't know what just happened there. I think his internet crashed out. Dude. I'm not sure what happened. There we
I think
go.
I'm back, bro. My phone just completely overheated, and now I had to like it's completely overheated. It's on 1%. Yeah, it
Dang.
just all of a sudden went black. But I'm back. Let's finish this. I'm in
Right?
charge, so let's hope it doesn't die now. So where are we? Which verse? 20.
I just got done reading the right here. Uh, a different oh right here. So we're at 16:9. Or wait.
I mean 22.
Oh
I think.
yeah. I got lost there. All right. All right, we're back. We're back. Okay.
Thank you very much. In previous material, before we communicated with you, it was stated by the Confederation that there is actually no past or future. All is present. Would this be a good analogy?
I am raw. There is past, present, and future in third density. In an overview such as an entity may have removed from the space-time continuum, it may be seen that in the cycle of completion there exists only the present. We ourselves seek to learn this understanding. At the seventh level or dimension, we shall, if our humble efforts are sufficient, become one with all, thus having no memory, no identity, no past or future, but existing in the all.
Does this mean that you would have awareness of all that is? Never will be? Oh.
I am wrong. This is partially correct. It is our understanding that it would not be our awareness, but simply awareness of the Creator. And the Creator is all that there is. Therefore, this knowledge would be available.
I was wondering how many inhabited planets there are in our galaxy, and if they all reach higher density by the law of one, or if there is any other way. It doesn't seem to me that there would be any other way to reach higher density. Is this correct?
I am Ra. Please restate your query.
How many inhabited planets are there in our galaxy?
I am Ra. We are assuming that you intend all dimensions of consciousness or densities of awareness in this question. Approximately one fifth of all planetary entities contain awareness of one or uh I'm sorry, contain awareness of one or more densities. Some planetary spheres are hospitable, I can't say that word right now, only for certain densities. Your planetary sphere, for instance, is at this time hospitable to levels or densities 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Well, roughly, how many total planets in this galaxy or stars that we are in have aware life regardless of density?
I am wrong. Approximately 67 million.
Many, like six, seven, many, you know, infinite.
67 million.
Yeah. Question: can you tell me what percentage of those are third, fourth, fifth, sixth density, etc.? Roughly, very roughly.
I'm wrong. A percentage 17 for first density, a percentage 20 for second density, a percentage 27 for third density, a percentage 16 for fourth density, a percentage 6 for fifth density. The other information must be withheld. The free will of your future is not making this available. We shall speak on one item. There is fairly a large there is a fairly large percentage, approximately 35% of the intelligent planets, which do not fit in the percentiles. These mysteries are of sixth and seventh density and are not available for our speaking.
Well, this first five densities have all of them progressed from third density by knowledge and application of the law of one?
I am wrong. This is correct.
Then the only way for a planet to get out of the situation that we are in, or the only way for the population, is to become aware of and start practicing the law of one. Is this correct?
This is correct.
Can you tell me what percentage of third, fourth, and fifth density planets which you have spoken of here are negatively polarized towards service to self?
I am wrong. This is not a query to which we may speak given the law of confusion. We may say only that the negativity or self service oriented planetary spheres are much fewer. To give you exact numbers would not be appropriate.
I would like to make an analogy about why there are fewer negatively oriented and ask you if the analogy is good. In a positively oriented society with service to others, it would be simply to move a large buildup by getting everyone to help remove it. In a society oriented towards service to self, it would be much more difficult to get everyone to work on the buildup for the good of all. Therefore, it is much easier to get things done to create the service to other principle and to grow in positively oriented communities that it is a negative that is in negative. Is this correct? That reminded me of the song "And You Can Grow" to what's that song?
Right here, for sure. I am raw. This is correct.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me how the Confederation of Planets was formed and why? Good luck.
I am raw. The desire to serve beings in the dimension of love or understanding to be an overwhelming goal of the social memory complex. Thus, those percentiles of planetary entities, plus approximately 4% more of those of whose identity they cannot speak, found themselves long, long ago in your time seeking the same thing, service to others. The relationship between these entities as they entered an understanding of other beings, other planetary entities, and other concepts of service was to share and continue together these commonly held goals of service. Thus, each voluntarily placed the social memory complex data in what you may consider a central thought complex available to all. This then created a structure whereby each entity could work in its own service while calling upon any other understandings needed to enhance the service. This is the cause of the formation and the manner of the working of the Confederation.
With such a large number of planets in this galaxy, I was wondering if you say there are approximately 500 Confederation planets. That seems to me to be a relatively small percentage of the total number of fourth and fifth density planets around. Is there any reason for this rel- relatively, how do you pronounce that? Rela- relatively,
Relatively,
relatively small percentages in this confederation?
I am
Thank you.
wrong. There are many confederations. This confederation works with the planetary spheres of seven of your galaxies, if you will, and is
Seven
responsible
galaxies, wow.
for the callings of the densities of these galaxies.
Would you define the word galaxy as you just used it?
We use that term in the sense as you would use star systems.
I'm a little bit confused as to how many total planets then roughly does the configuration that you are in service.
Does the confederation that you are in serve?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Does it serve?
I am raw. I see the confusion. We have difficulty with your language. The galaxy term must be split. We call galaxy that vibrational complex that is local. Thus, your sun is what we would call the center of a galaxy. We see you have another meaning for this term.
Yeah. Yes. In our science, the term galaxy refers to the lenticular star system that contains millions and millions of stars. And this had occurred earlier in our communications. This area of confusion, I'm glad to get it cleared up. Now, using the term galaxy in the sense that I just gave you of the lenticular something star system that contains millions of stars, do you know do you know of the evolution in other galaxies beside this one?
I am wrong. We are aware of life and infinite capacity. You are correct in this assumption.
Can you tell me if the progression of life in the other galaxies is similar to progression in this one?
I am wrong. The progression is somewhat close to the same. Wait, what? Ash Ashmontolically approaching congruency throughout infinity. The free choosing of what you call galactic systems cause variations of an extremely minor nature from one of your galaxies to another.
And then the law of one is truly universal in creating the progression towards the eighth density or octave in all galaxies. Is this correct?
I am raw. It is absolutely necessary that an entity consciously realize it does not understand in order for it to be harvestable. Understanding is not of this density.
That is a very important point. I used the wrong word. What it meant to say was, I believe, that it was not necessary for an entity to be consciously aware of the law of one to go from third to fourth density.
I am wrong. This is correct.
At what point in densities is it necessary for an entity to be consciously aware of the law of one to progress?
I am wrong. The fifth density harvest is of those whose vibratory distortions conscious consciously accept the honor duty of the law of one. This responsibility, honor, is the foundation of this vibration. Wow.
Question. Can you tell me a little more about this honor responsibility concept?
I am wrong. Each responsibility is an honor. Each honor a responsibility.
I want to ask a rather questionable question. I may not put it in the book. I was wondering if if cattle mutilations that we know that we now experience across the country and elsewhere could be explained by you.
I am wrong. The greater part of your so called mutilations take place according to the ways of your second density beings, which feed upon carry-on. A portion of these so-called mutilations are those which are of what you may call multi-dimensional type. A thought form construct using various parts in order to have life and being and third density.
So whatever these thought forms come from, I mean, I feel like an animal, or close to animals of second density. No, so, okay, let's continue. Question: where do these thought forms come from?
I am raw. This is a very ambiguous question. However, we will attempt to answer. Firstly, they come from the Creator. Secondly, they come from what you may call lower astral and plane thought. Thirdly, and construct visualization complex. They reside in part beneath the crust of your planet.
The one creator. Yeah. Question: are these one form in particular?
I am raw. These entities may take any thought form associated with an emotion of fear or terror.
Are these thought forms able to attack only cattle, or can they also attack human beings? Oh no.
I am raw. These thought forms cannot attack third density beings.
Can you? I mean, thank you. Can you tell me of the silver flecks that we have found sometimes on our faces? What? Can you tell me of the silver flecks that we have found sometimes on our faces or elsewhere?
I am raw. These of which you speak are a materialization of a subjectively oriented signpost indicating to one mind body spirit complex and no other, a meaning of subjective nature.
Who creates the silver flakes? Are they real?
I am raw. Picture, if you will, the increasing potential for learned teaching. At some point, a sign will be given to indicate the appropriateness or importance of that learned teaching. The entity itself, in cooperation with the inner planes, creates whatever signpost is most understandable or noticeable to it.
You are saying that we ourselves then create these?
I am raw. Entities consci- uh, consciously do not create these. The roots of mind complex have touched and understanding, intelligent infinity create them.
Thank you. Is it possible for you to give a small description of the conditions in fourth density?
I am raw. We ask you to consider as we speak that there are no words for positivity describing that there are no words for positivity describing fourth density. We can only explain that what is not and approximate what is. Being fourth density, our ability grows more limited still until we become without words. That which fourth density is not, it is not of words, unless chosen. It is not of heavy chemical vehicles for body complex activities. It is not of disharmony with within self. It is not of disharmony within peoples. It is not within limits of possibility to cause disharmony in any way. Approximations of positive statements. It is a plane of a type of bipedal vehicle which is much denser and more full of life. It is a plane wherein one is aware of the thoughts of other selves. It is a plane where one is aware of the vibrations of other selves. Start to feel this already. It is a plane of compassion and understanding of the sorrows of third density. It is a plane striving towards wisdom or light. It is a plane wherein individual differences are pronounced also, although automatically harmonized by group consensus. Wow. Wow.
Could you define the word density as we have been using it to give us a little greater idea of the concept of this term when used by you?
I am Ra. The term density is a what you would call mathematical one. The closest analogy is that of music, whereby after seven notes on your Western type of scale, if you will, the eighth note begins a new octave. Within your great octave of existence, which we share with you, there are seven octaves or densities. Within each density, there are seven sub-densities. Within each sub-density, seven sub-sub-densities, and so on infinitely.
I noticed that the time we have used has gone slightly over an hour. I would prefer to continue, but I want to ask at this time as to the condition of the instrument.
I am raw. The instrument is in balance. It is willed to continue if you desire. And this is
All right.
part 1653.
Continuing with what we were used that where we just talked about, namely densities. I understand that each density has seven subdensities, which again have seven subdensities, which again have seven subdensities. This expands at an extremely large rate as things are increased in powers of seven. Does this mean that in any density level, anything that you can think of is happening? And many things that you never thought of are happening? Are there everything is happening? This is confusing. I mean, myself, this was my own question. Many times I have asked this myself, like everything we can think of is happening. You know, it's kind of
Yeah, oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's, you know,
For
we
sure.
think on people. Okay, is there any being who have ever
Thoughts aren't just
sit in a
random.
spaceship and fly it across the sky, and then just smoking a joint in space while they were traveling? Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah,
I don't know.
that's part of our misunderstanding in this density is you know, is that man, it's crazy. It's like wow.
Everything, everything,
Because yeah,
the
literally,
universe already happened a long time.
because literally, like so we think like sometimes thoughts are like random and stuff, but like as was just previously stated, it all comes from our creator.
Yes, amen. So let's continue. I'm Ra.
Yeah. uh I am raw. Wait.
Just
Oh
after
yeah, yeah, yeah. From your
53.
confusion we select the concept with which you struggle, that being infinite opportunity. You may consider any possibility, probability complex as having an existence. Daisy Grin.
That's what we do when we think of possibilities that can occur. Say daydreaming. Do these become real in these densities?
I am raw. This depends upon the nature of the daydream. This is a large subject. Perhaps the simplest thing we can say is if the daydream, as you call it, is one which attracts to self, this then becomes reality to self. If it is contemplative, general daydream, this may enter the infinity of possibility, probability complexes and occur elsewhere, having no particular attachment to the energy fields of the creator.
To make this a little more clear, if I were to daydream strongly about building a ship, would this occur in one of these other densities? What? To make this.
I am raw.
Yeah.
This would have or shall occur.
And then if, say, an entity daydreams strongly about battling, let us say, another entity, would this occur? Oh shit, be careful what you wish for then.
I am raw. In this case, the entity's fantasy concerns the self and other self. This binds the thought form to the possibility probability complex connected with the self, which is the creator of this thought form. This then would increase the possibility probability of bringing this into third density occurrence.
Does this Orion group use the principle to create conditions brought about to suit their purpose?
I am raw. We will answer more specifically than the question. The Orion group uses daydreams of hostile or other negative vibratory natures to feed back or strengthen these thought forms. Wow.
Do they ever use any, shall I say, gratifications of the physical body to amplify such daydreams?
I am raw. They are able to do this only when there is a strong ability on the part of the receiving mind body spirit complex towards the perception of thought forms. This could be termed an unusual characteristic, which has indeed been a method used by Orion entities.
The many wanderers coming to this planet now and in the recent past, are they subject to Orion thoughts?
I am wrong. As we have said before, Wanderers become completely the creature of third density and mind bodies complex. There is just as much chance of such influence to a wanderer entity as to a mind body spirit complex of this planetary sphere. The only difference occurs in the spirit complex, which, if it wishes, has an armor of light, if you will, which enables it to recognize more clearly that which is not as it would appropriately be desired by the mind body spirit complex. This is not more than a bias and cannot be called an understanding. Furthermore, the wanderer is, in its own mind body spirit complex, less distorted towards the, shall we say, devious of third density, positive, negative confusions. Thus, it often does not recognize as easily as a more negative individual the negative nature of thoughts or beings.
Question. Would then the Wanderers, as they incarnate here, be high priority targets, shall we say, of the Orion group?
I am wrong. This is correct.
And if a Wanderer were to be successfully infringed upon, shall I say, by the Orion group, what would happen to this Wanderer at the harvest?
I am wrong. If the Wanderer entity demonstrated through action a negative orientation towards other selves, it would be, as we have said before, caught into planetary vibration and then harvested, possibly repeat again the master cycle of third density as a planetary entity. This shall be the last full question of the session. Is there a short question we may answer before we close the session?
Only just known if the instrument can be any more comfortable.
I am wrong. This instrument is as comfortable as it is possible for you to make it given the weakness, distortions of its body complex. You are con- con- conscientious. I am wrong. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.
Adonai, in service to all, in service to the one. Amen.
Whoa. But yeah, man, that was a good session. That was a good session. That was some right? Oh man, that's yeah. But yeah, bro, that was a good one.
Yep.
That was a really long session. That one, 62.
I'm excited. I myself had this meeting with this avian feathered being, and it was quite interesting. Every time I had a question, it forces me to um, answer my own questions, answering my own questions.
Man, that
So
part,
it gives me another question, so I could answer that question. It's kind of funny. how these questions and answers and
Or that part where it was talking about does the Orion group use this principle to create conditions brought about to suit their purpose? Uh, I am Ra. We will answer more specifically than the question. The Orion group uses daydreams of hostile or other negative vibratory natures to feedback or strengthen these thought forms. Like that's crazy, man. Like that I've experienced that before, you know, on multiple occasions of like all of a sudden like I'll just like go blank and then I'll be in a daydream and then it'll carry somewhere I don't want to be. So I'm just saying I've personally experienced that before. Messed up.
it was an incredible reading with you, Dylan. Thank you so much in the name of the one definite creator. Thank you. We will just dream about what we just read. I always sleep, speak in my
Right,
sleep.
right, right. All right, bro. Sounds good, man.
So
I need
let's
to.
call. I'll call you privately, and then let's talk. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. All right. Sounds good, man. All right, y'all. Sending y'all love and light, light and love. All right. Let's do that.